This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Top Georgian officials are on separate visits to Armenia today in order to further enhance relations between the two countries. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze will be meeting with Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, and together they will chair a session of the Armenia-Georgia Intergovernmental Commission for Economic Cooperation. Earlier in the day, the Georgian Foreign Minister met with her Armenian counterpart to discuss regional cooperation and transport projects. Today, we are further deepening the ties and moving into the future. Our strategic partnership has great potential to further expand the content and circle of cooperation in various areas, Maka Bochorishvili said during a press conference with her Armenian counterpart, Ararat Mirzoyan. Bochorishvili expressed Georgia's hopes that a peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan will be signed for the sake of regional peace, and that it will be made on mutually acceptable terms. Only this can be the basis for regional stability and sustainable peace, she said. For his part, Mirzoyan said Armenia supports the idea of unblocking regional transport links, as envisioned by the Crossroads of Peace initiative. He added that there is a possibility of simplifying transit procedures through its territory for Azerbaijan if the routes are opened, and is waiting for a response to Armenia's proposals. However, earlier this week, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev called the Crossroads project meaningless without Azerbaijan's support, and rejected it based on his demand for a corridor across Armenia without any customs inspections. Georgia and Armenia formalized their strategic partnership in January of last year. This visit comes at a time when the Georgian government is under heavy international pressure due to democratic backsliding, and some of its officials have been sanctioned. This leaves Armenia in the very fragile position as the only country in the region considered to have democratic leanings. Due to blockades by Turkey and Azerbaijan, Georgia is extremely important to Armenia as its primary outlet to the world, with 70% of cargo to Armenia coming through Georgia. The European Union's monitoring mission in Armenia has been extended for another 2 years, its mandate unchanged, as announced today by the EU Council. EUMA will stay committed to security in the region, the mission's head Markus Ritter said today. The all-civilian observers and experts come from 25 EU member countries and an additional contributing state, Canada. The unarmed mission was deployed to Armenia's borders with Azerbaijan in February 2023, several months after Baku launched an invasion into Armenian territory. It monitors and reports on the situation on the border only from the Armenian side, as an offer to also operate on the Azerbaijani side was flatly rejected. The mission's presence has since triggered outrage in Baku, with Aliyev and other senior officials denouncing it as a hostile force. They have repeatedly demanded its removal, even making it one of the preconditions for signing a normalization deal with Yerevan, and have threatened it with gunfire. Russia has also criticized the mission, claiming that the EU is using it to spy on Armenian and Azerbaijani troops, as well as Russian forces present on some sections of the border. Last October, Mirzoyan said that the mission has been crucial in preventing Azerbaijan from escalating the border crisis. Since its deployment, there hasn't been any major escalation. It works. It really works. And we highly appreciate the effort of the European Union, he said. Now that the EU has approved the border monitoring mission for another 2 years, you might be asking, so what exactly do they do, especially amid the disinformation about their operations from Azerbaijan and Russia? To find out, CivilNet went on patrol with them last summer along the border with Nakhichevan, seeing how they determine the facts on the ground and build ties with local residents. You can watch our report from the field at the link in the description. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 2,808. That's the number of Armenian citizens in the United States who are facing deportation orders according to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE. They are among the more than 1.5 million non-citizens facing removal from the country as of last November. The United States has been seeing widespread immigration raids since President Donald Trump took office last week, implementing one of his primary campaign promises. The White House calls it the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.